Okay, so here are some more mad science experiments. These are some kind of Chinese voltage multipliers that are advertised as 400,000 volts or some crazy stuff like that. You can tell it's not 400,000 volts because you can't hold off 400,000 volts across this distance. They're about, I've measured in one of my videos, they're about 15 kV output, 15 kV DC output, and I believe it's 3 to 6 volts input into here. And it actually takes quite a bit of current to drive this guy. I was trying to drive it with another power supply, and I think I burnt out the driver power supply. Or actually, maybe I burnt out that thing. I don't know. I burnt out something. So anyway, we have a computer power supply here, which I'm going to dismantle. It provides both 12 volts and 5 volts, and I'm going to use the 5 volts because that's in the range of 3 to 6 volts. And so let's we'll test this guy out to see if it's producing the voltage, because it's some old junky thing I found, and recycling it. So this is real recycling. This is actually useful, unlike the recycling that they do in Fairfax, where someone followed the recycling trucks. You know, they're so communist here. They're always pushing their disgusting agendas and brainwashing everybody. And, oh, our schools are so great, and this and that. And, well, we're doing recycling. They followed the recycling truck, and they just dumped it in the garbage, because that kind of recycling is not cost effective. But something like this, I should actually call it repurposing. Repurposing is actually effective. Recycling is not. All this green stuff is a bunch of crap dreamed up by the communists to keep everybody busy. Anyway, enough political stuff. Let's test this out, and we'll get I have some great plans for this device. Some interesting experiments coming up. Okay. Some mad scientist stuff. Right, let's test that guy out. Okay, so here's our voltmeter, and I have it set on volts. I'm touching the one probe to the outer conductor of this computer pin, and this pin right here tests at 11.8 volts, and I believe these other ones don't test at anything, and these two over here I believe test at 5.2 volts, so that's in the range. Make sure the power supply is still working. I think I shorted it out for a second. Okay, 5.2 volts, so I think we're good to go. So what I'll probably do is unplug it and cut off the end of this connector and just hardwire it into our voltage multiplier circuit here, and we should be all set to go. Okay, so here we go. We got a pair of scissors here, and it's a little bit crude, but what the heck, right? Cut that off. Make sure it's unplugged when you do that. You don't want to blow out the power supply. Looks like there's only 3 wires in there. And, of course, this is a razor blade, so be careful. Strip back the outer plastic to expose the wires. Oh, gosh. And then I'll probably strip these wires back. Be careful when you're doing this. You don't want to cut yourself with that razor blade. That's probably going to be unpleasant, to say the least. Okay. You should never cut toward yourself. Don't do as I do. Keep your fingers away from the blade. Keep the blade under control. Okay. And I'll just have to test these to see which one is. Probably the green is ground. I'll circumcise this wire. Okay. Oh, gosh. Okay, wow, he doesn't come off very easily. Definitely only 3 wires coming up here, though, so one of them's got to be ground, and the other 2 have to be the voltage lines. Okay. I'll test those out and find out which is which. Okay. Okay, this is a little bit unexpected. I thought that maybe green to black would be the 5 volt, but it's a 12. And I go green to red, and that is 6.6 volts. Because it turns out that the 5 volts is actually from the black to the red, 5.2 volts. Okay, so there is our voltage when I go black to red. And of course we want to make sure the polarity is correct. So I have red on red and black on black, and it looks like it's plus polarity, so we're living in a sane world where people are following conventions. And so we'll go red to black in this power supply. Okay. Okay, so we have our voltage multiplier input, and it has the red and green on this side. And here's our power supply from our computer power supply here. And remember, it's red and black to plus and minus. Usually what I'll do before I solder things together is I will twist the wires together. So we want to go red to red. Okay. And of course, remember, we're not using this wire. We're not using the green wire on the power supply output. So black to green. Green is coming out of this guy, and black is coming out of here. And we'll twist those guys together. Then we'll find some solder and hopefully solder these things together. Okay. Okay, so let's, I guess, throw my soldering iron. And get up to temperature. I think we're up to temperature. Solder these things together. Okay. Now you want to get a good flow on that. And of course, after we get them soldered, we don't want them to short out to each other. Let me just check the solder, make sure it's a good solder joint. Okay, and we have our friend, the electrical tape. And let us just cut some of this off. And I'm going to insulate both of these wires here so they do not short together. Okay, see that? And I find it stronger if you wrap it around like this, less likely to short out. The tape, you have the tape stick to itself. Okay. And we'll get another piece of electrical tape here. Okay. There we go. And if you want it to be neat, maybe tape those together too, but I think we're all set. I think we might be set to test this thing out. Okay. Got that taped up there. Okay. And just have to plug that guy in and we'll test her out. Okay, so I got this thing here, which is my Psychotronic Spinner, and I just like to use that to test out my... It's convenient because I have it around and it will tell me if my electrostatic generators are working. And so let's plug this computer power supply in. And it's making noise. And it looks like it's definitely working, definitely producing ion wind. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that. It's producing a high frequency whining noise. Okay. Oh. Okay. And there we go. Our high voltage generator made with a computer power supply and this Chinese high voltage multiplier. I'm going to turn this video off and unplug it before someone gets hurt like me. Okay. It's Dr. James, and thanks for watching. It's Dr. James, and thanks for watching. Okay.